Chapter 2. Part 1. How cruel are the gods, how unjust was the fate. With Danka Atar's brothers, commanded by the great Dairiko. They died for a coward. Disgusting and miserable trap. The tragedy of the Danka Atar brothers. Author, Hiplock's Stoneaxe. With the army of the Dragon Ridge League already present in the mines, it was unlikely that the Alliance would attack them again, at least for the time being. Gosberg ran to greet the general in command of the coalition and was an old acquaintance of his, not surprisingly. Yahaila Robel, a pleasure to see you again. Gosberg, it was obvious that you would be present at the greatest war that has happened in centuries on the Dragon's Ridge. We were waiting for your help, to be honest. The situation is not very advantageous to us. We are sorry for the delay. But Albiona attacked the southern border of the Kingdom of Anchuera, and until we controlled the situation we could not prepare a proper army. How many troops? 20,000 soldiers. The best troops that the dorsal kingdoms can send without compromising the security of their kingdoms. The forest of Fambir sends its wolf riders under my command. Today is the time to rest, tomorrow we will head south. What is the plan? Yahaila asked. The warrior knew very well who was really in charge. First check if what remains of the army of the dwarfs and Albiona has receded to the south. If that happens we will advance west to Kazmin, there is General Debok and we will draw up the final strategy. Agnoruk, although he was a warrior since he was a child, was never involved in a great war. The closest thing was the War of the Onions, and it was not a very orthodox conflict at all. What really tired him about the war was not the battle itself but what happened afterwards. The dead on both sides had to be buried, first because they all deserved a dignified presentation to Thani, and second, as Aris had taught him, the unburied dead were a source of infection, especially from water. Then there was the question of treating the many wounded. The infirmary was overflowing. The last and most complicated thing was the question of where to place the prisoners of the Alliance, which was solved thanks to the fact that the first level of the mine was in an acceptable state. Thanks to the good work of the governor, they were able to improvise a kind of prison where they could let Albiona's dwarfs and soldiers rest, and tomorrow they would see what to do with them. Night came and Agnoruk stood on the wall. From that place you could see the flames of the great pyre where the remains of the enemy troops were being incinerated. It was hard work, removing armor and throwing the corpses on the pyre. The smell of burning hair flooded the atmosphere in the red mines. His ashes would then be buried in the temple of Thani. The armor could be recycled or sold for scrap, namely, it mattered little. Tania approached him as she watched the flames crackle as she received a new batch of corpses. The dwarf, on Gosberg's orders, had complete freedom of movement despite being a prisoner. Everyone assumed that it was preferential treatment for being a princess, but Agnoruk and Tania knew the truth. They were your companions. The truth is that I liked few of them and you killed them all. They were good friends and comrades in arms. But for most of my people I am a stinker. I can only aspire to live far away, in the depths of the ridge. Because of the deformity. For my people, having this means being cursed. All of us who were born with the brand have no right to anything. I was lucky, most of them were killed at birth. Being the daughter of the queen they let me live, but without any rights, I was hidden in the court. When I grew up, at least I was given the option to die for my king. That's not fair. Was what happened in the mines anything? Tania kept thinking about the massacre of the mines at the hands of Gosberg. Many good warriors died there, but I don't blame you, each one defends his own. Wars are like that. Agnoruk didn't answer the question. He knew Tania's feeling when she saw Gosberg fight with all her might. What would happen if she betrayed him? You wouldn't last a minute alive, nor would you realize it. Was it like that with you? Something similar. They both remained silent, watched as the blue moon, Alton, reigned in the sky. The bluish tone that permeated the night made the flames of the pyre have a magical color. It seemed that the goddess of death herself took care of the rest of the deceased.